What's up guys, Tech Savvy Buyer here. So today what we're going to be doing is talking about my experience with the Galaxy Note 10 Plus 3 weeks after its launch. I'm going to cover what are some of the things I actually use this phone for regularly, what are the features about it that I like most. You guys have probably already heard all the hype of the different things that you can do with it, Samsung DeX, obviously the S Pen and all that other jazz, but what am I actually using this phone for today? And I'm coming from a Note 8. So I used to have a Note 8 for a while, and then I finally decided to make the switch over to the Note 10. Now, overall, I will say this is a fantastic phone, but if you're going to be spending $1,100 on a phone or $1,200 on a phone, depending on which one you get, this is the non-5G variant, make sure that you're getting your money's worth and that it's actually worth doing the upgrade. Up front, I'll also say if you have a Note 9, then it makes absolutely no sense to get this. There really isn't much of a difference. Of course, there is in camera and it's a little bit in specs and whatnot, but depending on your usage, I really think for the masses, upgrading from a Note 9 to a Note 10 may not be the wisest decision. But anyways, we're going to cover that. On top of that, I'm going to show you how good this actually is in gaming performance. So we're going to do some tests with PS2 emulation, and I'll cover some of the games that work and run really well on this device, as well as look at a couple other games from GameCube and Dreamcast as well to see how this handles those as well. Although it's not a gaming phone, I will say that it is really good at gaming performance nonetheless. Anyways, we're going to cover all that stuff. Let's get a quick word from today's video sponsor coming up.
Today's video is brought to you by scdkey.com. At scdkey.com, you can purchase authentic software as well as video games for a fraction of the price that you would at retail. Quit spending hundreds of dollars on buying a copy of Windows 10 off Amazon or Best Buy or other places when you can simply go to scdkey.com and pick it up for a fraction of the price. For less than $16, you can get an original authentic code for Windows 10 Pro and activate your license today. Purchasing this is super simple. All you have to do is make sure you have an account and signed in on scdkey.com, and make sure you go ahead and put my code TSB18 during checkout to save extra from the retail price. Once you've done that, go ahead and submit your order and you can follow through the payment method that suits you. Again, scdkey.com, awesome website to purchase original copies of Windows 10 Pro or Home and even Office software solutions as well. Make sure you go ahead and visit scdkey.com for all your software needs.
Alright, so this phone has been reviewed to death, right? So I'm not going to make this a full in-depth review of what are all the features about this phone and what makes it super fantastic. There's tons of videos on YouTube that you guys can go ahead and already watch, and I'm not going to spend the time covering all of it. However, for those of you guys who are interested, I am going to cover what are the specs of this phone. So looking at the display on this, it has a Super AMOLED display. It has a pretty much almost a 500 ppi display pixel density, actually it's 495 to be exact, but you're not getting a skimped out resolution screen on any means whatsoever. This phone has one of the sharpest looking displays that I've seen on any phone. The only limitation and the nitpick I'm going to do here is the fact that it's a 60 Hz screen. Now we're starting to see other phones like the OnePlus 7 Pro, for example, sporting a 90 Hz display, and I wish that if you're going to be spending $1,200, I wish that Samsung would have included a 90 Hz display. The technology is not something that they couldn't come up with. They should have done that. It would have made a much more fluid and better experience, but again, it just really depends on what you're looking for. The faster refresh rate screens are typically geared towards gamers, and that's typically because they're looking for faster refresh rates when they're playing different types of games. So on a mobile device, is it absolutely necessary? Maybe not, but once you use a phone that has a super fast responsive screen, then you'll basically not be able to go back to a normal screen. And that was actually one of the issues I had when I tested the Razer Phone 2. That thing had a 120 Hz refresh rate screen, and that thing was just a beast. It was super smooth when using it to navigate through the menu and stuff, and like after going back to this, which is half the refresh rate, felt kind of weird. But nonetheless, the specs of the display are super solid. Inside the system, the CPU, it is an octa-core processor. It does have 12 gigabytes of RAM, and that is because this is the Note Plus variant. It's a 10 Plus. If you go with the normal Note 10, you're only going to get 8 gigs of RAM, which I still think is more than enough for most people. Again, it really comes down to what are you using this for. So again, I'm not going to do a full in-depth review on this. I'm basically going to tell you guys what I like most about this phone. So aside from this mirror finish, the Aura Glow color here, the color is really nice. It looks nicer on camera, to be honest. You get more of the mirror finish that you're seeing on screen than it actually does in real life. In real life, it kind of gives like this light silvery, glistening type shade that with sometimes getting rainbow colors just depending on how the light refracts off of it. But for the most part, Looks is definitely one of the things that the Note 10 Plus has going for it. I think its build quality is superb, just like any other Samsung phone that has been coming out in the last couple of years. Even comparing it to the S10 and the S10 Plus, this phone doesn't look like a cheap phone by any means, and you'd expect that because you're spending more than $1,000 on this device. Now, aside from that, the top 3 things I really love about this phone, it's really simple, and some of them could be used on other devices as well, but these are the main reasons why I made the jump from the Note 8 over to the Note 10. I can already tell you up front, it's not because of the S Pen. I find that with most of the Note series phones, when I buy them, I might play around with the pen for like the first couple of weeks, hardly, and then after that, it just sits in there always. So the gestures and doing that, I have not even done that once with this phone yet. I've had this for 3 weeks, not even once have I bothered to go ahead and play around with those gestures or do anything. What I did like about this, so getting back to the point here, number one, what I really love is the reverse power charging on this. Meaning, I have a Galaxy Watch here, okay, and this thing's battery life by all means is fantastic, but sometimes if I'm traveling, recently I went to Michigan and I forgot to pack the charger with me. Now the awesome thing is you don't need any special charger, you can use your phone to charge it. It's as simple as turning on power share inside the settings on this and just placing your watch on top of the back of the phone and it starts to charge it. So if you have a charger for your phone, you're essentially charging 2 devices now because you have a charger for this, which will ultimately charge that. And not only can you charge your watch with it, but if you have another Qi enabled phone, you can charge that with this phone as well. Now you're not going to get crazy charging speeds like super fast charging or anything like that, but for the most part, if I left it on for an hour, it gave me enough juice on my watch to carry on for the rest of the day, and it was a really helpful feature. I think this is a fantastic feature, and a lot of other phone manufacturers should definitely start doing the same thing. This is superb, by far my most favorite feature of the Note 10 so far. The second thing I really liked about this is the fact that wireless Android Auto is actually working on this. And that's a debatable topic, let's call it, because a lot of people said with Android 9.0, you'll be able to use wireless Android Auto with a compatible head unit. And honestly, I had a Note 8 with Android 9 in it, and for the life of me, I could not get wireless projection to work when hooking it up into my car. With this, it was as simple as just sitting in my car, starting it up, and it would automatically show up on the head unit. Now, of course, you have to make sure that the receiver you're using has a compatible wireless display unit in it to support Android Auto mirror wirelessly, basically. And it worked flawlessly out of the box with this. I had to make a couple of minor settings going in and doing some stuff. If you guys are interested, you can ask me in the comments below and I'll let you know how to do that if you have one of these and have a unit that's compatible with it. But it's much better than having to plug it in all the time and use it like that. So I like how everything is going to the more wireless type of ecosystem. The third thing I love most about this is its gaming performance. Of course, guys, you know this is a gaming channel, and a lot of stuff I review is based on its performance in gaming. And honestly, I have to say this thing is a champ. And again, it better be, right? You're spending more than $1,000 on this device. It is absolutely a champ. So with that, I'm not going to ramble off too much on how it performs in gaming. I'm going to show you guys how good this actually runs PS2 games. PS2 has been one of the hardest things to emulate on Android. There's only one app out there. It's called Daemon PS2. You can stick with the free version or you can go with the pro version. Just to give you a quick snippet here, I mostly have used the free version in most of my testing. However, today I bit the bullet and I actually spent $8 on getting the pro version to test if it made a difference. They claim it adds more frames per second and it does give you better stuff. And honestly, guys, it sucks to have to pay for this, and I would never advocate to go and pay for an app that should be free, but since I paid for it and I actually tested to see the difference, it's clear to see that yes, the paid version is superiorly better than the non-paid version or the free version. You don't have to do it, you'll still get all the same functionality, but I noticed some frame rate drops in some games if you were playing on the free version versus on the paid version. Most notably, the game that had the biggest issues for me was Burnout 2. Playing on the free version, it was just super crappy, and playing on the paid version, it wasn't super crappy. crappy. Now that being said, this handles games on PS2 like a champ. Now, it's not a limitation of the device when you're going to see some of the footage here of the games not running smoothly. It's purely because of the emulator itself, and it's still kind of in its infancy. So keep that in mind when you watch some of these clips. But overall, guys, solid phone for gaming PS2 games, Dreamcast, and even GameCube games. Check out this footage over here. So as you guys saw, this thing actually did better in my testing than some of my other devices. I remember I did the Mochi i7s, which is kind of like a PS Vita lookalike or PSP lookalike. It outperformed this. Now, obviously, right, this is a third of the price of this. For 400 bucks, you can pick this up, and for 1200, you're looking at this, or actually 1100, but it's still good to see that some of these mainstream phones can be used for other things. Now, I didn't buy a Note 10 specifically to do gaming on it, but the fact that it is capable of doing that, and it's not just a super fancy productivity phone to run spreadsheets, documents, PowerPoints, and all that other jazz, it's good to know that you can actually do it with this phone. I don't need to lug around a special gaming phone in my pocket. So you don't necessarily have to invest in a gaming phone to get that kind of performance. And chances are most people are going and buying devices like this because these are the ones that are mainstream. If you're a Verizon customer, AT&T, T-Mobile, or whatnot, more than likely you're picking up one of these guys on a device payment plan, making it more affordable for yourself. And it's good to know that this is equally competing with the Black Shark Pro 2, with the Newbie Red Magic, with the Mochi i7s, and all of these gaming phones that are touted as gaming phones. So your mainstream Samsung Note 10 actually can outperform some of them in a lot of different aspects. So keep that in mind when you want to go and invest in a new cell phone. Do you want to go and get one that's specifically geared towards gaming, or do you want to get one that's one more or less of an everyday type use phone, which in this case the Note 10 Plus absolutely is. But again, sorry that I didn't give you guys a full in-depth review of this. I will say that everything else that all the big YouTubers have been stating about this phone are completely accurate. It's a beautiful phone. Camera is spectacular nonetheless. It shoots awesome video. It has spectacular battery life as well. It's got the bigger one because this is the Note 10 Plus. And overall, it's very, very snappy. One more thing that I didn't really point out is how fast the fingerprint reaction is. It's just a matter of pressing it a little bit harder into the screen. It took me a little bit getting used to, but that was one thing that I appreciated as I understood how it worked, and just not just putting your finger on it, but pressing it with a little bit of pressure, and then it goes through super fast. Now, those are all the good things I've covered in this phone. I'm going to tell you guys some things that I think truly suck, in my opinion, about this. So out of the box, you can see there's only 2 buttons on the side. They killed off the power button, and I think this was a bad move on Samsung's part. It was really annoying getting used to not having a power button going from the Note 8 to the Note 10 and having to press the Bixby button and the lower power button the lower volume button together just to get the power options. Now you can go in and adjust the side key options and program it to be whatever you want, and ultimately that is what I did. If you can see here, I hold it now and then it gives me that option. Otherwise, typically before it wouldn't do that. The other nitpick thing that I have with this is the fact that they got rid of the headphone jack. Now, Jerry Rig Everything, awesome guy, very nice content on his channel. I'm a big fan of his channel. He did a teardown of the phone, and he actually figured out that there was enough space in the Note 10 Plus to keep the headphone jack. So it's no coincidence that Samsung decided to ditch that and then heavily promote the Galaxy Buds. But again, I mean, I'm really nitpicking here. They did give headphones that come with a USB Type-C connection, which realistically you're probably not going to use with anything other than maybe a Nintendo Switch or this guy. I don't know. But for the most part, that is pretty much what I have to say about the Note 10, guys. 3 weeks going strong. Absolutely love this phone. If you've been on the fence to go ahead and pick one up, definitely consider buying one and take advantage of the buy one, get one free offer if you're going through Verizon or some of the other carriers. And make sure that you do test out all the different features like I shared in this video. It's a very, very solid phone. Comes with a whole bunch of stuff that you typically won't find in other smartphones that have a lower price tag, obviously. But nonetheless, I think it's very well worth the money, and it truly is a beautiful phone, as you guys can see. But other than that, if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. I'll do my best to field them. Of course, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you're up to date with all the new content that I'm putting out. Typically like to do a lot more gaming stuff, but once in a while I get to review some good phones. Other than that, guys, I appreciate you staying through to the end and watching this video. If you have any other questions, let me know. Again, not to be repetitive, but I will see you guys on my next video. Peace out and bye-bye.